tonight, hopefully before like 9 o'clock. I'm an addict, my name's Norman. I want to welcome everyone for coming here tonight.
We have a couple, yeah.
To our 40 and 40 celebration of recovery in Narcotics Anonymous. I've asked Mona to come up and read who's an addict. Where are you? I know you don't want to come up here.
Slow, yeah.
Bless you. There's Jim behind you, stand up.
I'm an addict named Monica. Who is an addict? Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know. Our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same.
Thanks, Monica. Anthony, what is the NA program?
My
name is Anthony, I'm an addict. NA is a non-profit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs have become a major problem. We are recovered addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. This is a program of complete abstinence from all drugs. There is only one requirement for membership, the desire to stop using. We suggest that you keep an open mind and give yourself a break. Our program is a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. The most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We are not affiliated with any other organizations. We have no initiation fees or dues, no pledges to sign, no promises to make to anyone. We are not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups, and are under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We're not interested in what or how much you use, or who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean.
Thanks, Anthony.
You're welcome.
And I've asked Stacy.
Let's go, Stace.
All right, all right, all right.
Stay. You better stay.
My name is Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Why are we here? Because we ain't out here.
Yeah.
Before coming to the fellowship of NA, we could not manage our own lives. We could not live and enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different, and we thought we had found it in drugs. We placed their use ahead of the welfare of our families, our wives, husbands, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. Through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problem. We seemed to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realized that in our addiction, we were slowly committing suicide. Our addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended up in jail or sought help through medicine, religion, and psychiatry. None of these methods were sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced but continued to progress until in desperation we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffered from a disease from which there is no known cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point. Recovery is done.
Thanks,
All right.
All right, once again, I want to thank everyone. Like, to me, it was like unprecedented, right? Like 40 plus 40, we've been married for 42, in Narcotics Anonymous, like, it was an event that I couldn't just let go by like the usual, you know what I mean? And it's something I don't think, I haven't seen it before, but I'm really glad you all made it here tonight to be part of our celebration.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand. My name is Kathy, I'm an addict.
Hi, Kathy.
I guess I have to stand up this.
You gotta stand.
We're not at AA, by the way, just because we have the fucking podium. The first thing I wanted to say is that really emotional, and that everybody in the room, every person here has touched my recovery. Like every single fucking person. You can't say that like at a convention, you know what I mean? Because you don't know everybody, but everybody that's sitting here has helped me stay clean, has helped me just like grow in Narcotics Anonymous, and the most thing I'm happy about tonight is everything, but also that like I've been talking about how we're spanning the generations. Like I have my friends here to like are the youngins, and then we have Mikey C, who's the old guy, and yeah. So we have all that, and we have all lengths of clean time. So that's really fucking cool, right? It's not everybody in here that has like 40 years, 39 years. It's like everybody has clean time, and I'm really happy about that. And I didn't know what I was gonna really talk about tonight. So I'm just gonna talk about like how I came to Narcotics Anonymous when I was 23 years old. Does someone set a timer? Okay. So I came here when I was 23 years old, and so when I was a kid, I was always looking for a better way. Like I had the low self-esteem, I had all that shit we all got going on. I started using when I was 12. During that time, like as I got older, as a teenager, I was always thinking about maybe there was a better way, but I just didn't know what it was. Like they couldn't stop doing drugs, and no one ever told me like there was a different way to live, like some kind of normalcy. And so when I went to my first meeting, I went there and I'm like, holy fuck, there's a place like this. There's a place that you can come and learn how to live without the use of drugs and alcohol, and you can just recover and get better. And so I wasn't the person who came that didn't want to be here. I was the person that came that couldn't wait to be in Narcotics Anonymous, that couldn't wait to learn all the stuff, like to learn the steps, to learn how to live, to like figure out how to talk right, to figure out how to like fit into society at some point in my life. And so Narcotics is a place where we can all come, and it's Freedom Hall, and everybody knows I talk about that. So you can say whatever you want tonight, like you're allowed to say whatever you want in Narcotics Anonymous. There's no like, you don't have to say, well, let me put it this way, when we first came in, some people would say like, my name's Mike and I'm a plumber or whatever. Oh, Ray's here tonight, by the way. But we used to, so if you came here and you wanted to say like, my name's Kelly, and I like cats or whatever, you can say that. You can say whatever the fuck you want here, and that's always been a great thing. And when Norman first told me about this party, I told him he was full of boastfulness and bragginess, because he can get like that. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we're not having a party just because you can be like, oh, I got the, you know. And he's like, no, Cap, that's not why we're having it. And it took me a little while for it to sink in. I'm like, oh, we're having it so all our friends can have a good time, and we can have a party, and we can eat cake, and we can just be here. And also, another thing that we came up with, but we could do this before we can't do this. So, and that's the reason I'm happy about it, and the reason that like all my new friends that I've met here that are new in recovery and younger than me and everything, I always tell them like, you're gonna have to do this, like you're gonna have to carry on, because someday you're gonna be the predecessor. And there is a predecessor in this room before me, he's gonna be sharing. Tonight, I don't know, I'm just really revved up. I don't have a lot to say, which is unusual, right? But I just want to say that Narcotics Anonymous works, I guess is what I want to say. It works. It just fucking works. I don't know how it works, but it does. I know that I came here, I went to meetings, I went to, when I was 5 years clean, I was kind of losing my mind, and someone invited me down to Cape Cod to do an AWOL meeting, a women's structured step group in Narcotics Anonymous. And I lived in Rentham, so Norman had 3 jobs then, and he would come home every night at 4:30 so I could get in my truck and drive down to Cape Cod and try to learn how to live and like hang out with women and learn the steps and learn do-by-4 step and do all that shit, and then, I'm gonna share this story because it's important to me, and then how much time you got?
You got plenty of time.
Oh, God.
Surprising, right?
I usually wanna talk all night. So, I got asked to do this step meeting, the structured step meeting, and there was another woman that lived nearby me that was in Narcotics Anonymous. And she said, oh, we should go together. And I'm like, yeah, we should go together. That's a really good idea. We can travel to the Cape together. It'll be really nice, you know, and halfway into it, which I don't know what step we were on, whatever. But we were riding home or riding there in the truck, and I was driving the truck, and this person said to me, I don't know, you might want to divorce Norman. And I said, oh, and she goes, because you were fucking high when you, how do you know you even love him? Like you were high and shit when you met him and all this stuff. And I said, guess what? And she said, what? I said, we're not riding together anymore. You can take your own car on tape and I'll take mine, but we're not, because you can't tell someone that. Like, that's not fucking okay. And maybe it was, like, I was young then, and, you know, maybe it was okay. Like, I don't have any fucking idea. But the moral of the story is she stayed clean, and so did I. And we both drove separately to Cape Cod from Rentham and Franklin, but we recovered together at that group. Like, we weren't mean to each other, we just recovered together and did that. So that's one of my, like, things about Narcotics Anonymous is, like, when I was telling you, it works if we work it, right? And I think I tell most of my friends, like, you know, when it comes to the end of the day, you're staying clean for yourself. And so if someone's telling you that you're doing it wrong, or you have to do the steps before you have a year clean, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, you don't have to do any of that. You can just come here and get clean and do it in your own good time. But so I came, and a lot of people, when I came here, they're not here anymore. And one of the other things is they said, hey, a grateful addict will stay clean. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll stick with that. I'll just be grateful for the rest of my life, because I was scared. I didn't want to get high again. I didn't want to be, you know, Norman and I were physical. I didn't want to do that anymore. And not doing that came in time, like even in clean time I had to learn, because I wasn't brought up like that. I had to learn how not to do that. And it was a rough couple years, you know. And so today, on the way here, I finally realized, somebody said something to me. I don't know who I was talking to. I think I talked to Rhonda. Who was it? Maybe it was Kathy. I can't remember, but they said something. I think it was Kathy. And she said something. I said, well, no, because I just told you, like, it's unity stuff. But I said, no, I'm doing it my way. I'm throwing the fucking party tonight. I'll be in charge. Yeah, that's what I said. Because she was like, blah, 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 saying something. Nothing out of the ordinary, but just saying something. And I'm like, no, but I'm in charge tonight. I'm having a party. And usually, like, I'm not like the in charge person. But I was like, no, I'm doing it. And it was kind of like that old, like, I'm really happy that I have to say, Norman, that, like, when the idea first came up, I was just, like, doing that to you. And then standing up here tonight and looking at all my friends, because, like, everyone in here is my friend, which is nice, too. Like, there's not anyone sitting in here that doesn't know me, which is nice, so they know I'm up here telling the truth. You know, like, you can go to a convention and speak all the shit and bang the table and read the fucking books. They don't know you. You know what I mean? Everyone here knows me. Everyone from every table has helped me throughout my whole recovery. And I don't know, yeah, I'm kind of at a loss tonight. I'm kind of just really emotional and really grateful. And I know that everyone in this particular room knows that Narcotics Anonymous works, because everyone here has some clean time under their belt and are doing the right things and shit. So I know that I'm not going to tell anyone how to stay clean. I just know that when I got here, I was relieved. I sat down and I was relieved that I could talk. I was relieved that I could be myself. And I was relieved that I could, people judge and stuff, but it is an unconditional love place. So when I got here, I felt that I wasn't judged a lot, which was nice. I felt like I think the most important other thing I talk about is Freedom Hall, because if you come in here and you don't be your true genuine self, it's gonna be really much harder to stay clean. It's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Like, if you're coming in here and not showing your genuine self, and like, that's something that I had before I got here, which was pretty cool. I was already taught like to be your genuine self and not put airs on about you and all that shit, like, and everybody's equal, and that's another thing about Narcotics Anonymous, like, everybody's equal here. And, some people get it mixed up and think that they're better than people because they have their fucking clean time. That doesn't make anybody better. It just means that they came and stayed. Like, I came when I was 23, I stayed, I worked my ass off, I acquired clean time. Anybody can do that. Like, anybody can just come here and acquire clean time. Anyone can come here too and just be abstinent and be a shitbag and like, what? Still sell drugs, like still like 13-step people, still like do all the wrong shit at home. They can come up here and show a good game, and at home like they're like not doing the right thing, like they're beating up their wife or they're beating up their kids or they're stealing from their job and all that shit. So abstinence does not equal recovery, but abstinence is a start. So you can come here and abstinence is a start because the only requirement for membership is the desire to stop using. That's all you have to have. What? I didn't see you. And like, oh, what? Yeah, that's great. And then, there was one other thing when I was saying about the requirements for membership, the desire to stop using. And I feel like all the people I know in the room tonight have a strong desire to stay clean. Like, I can look out in the meeting and I don't see one person that I think is saying like, oh, I don't want to stay clean really. Everybody here that I go to meetings with and everything, I know they want to stay clean and they have the desire. Hi, Maxine. Hi, Kathy. Oh, here she is. You. Okay, go sit down. No. So that's what's really cool too about tonight, because I know everybody's sitting here. And you know what the other thing is nice about tonight? I know everybody sitting here actually likes me. Like, you can't get that everywhere. Like, I know everybody genuinely likes me. I know there's no one, there might be a few people, but I know there's no one in the crowd saying like, is she gonna shut the fuck up? No, yeah. Steve might be. Steve is the definite one that might be saying it. So I'm really happy and I'm really grateful, and I just like, I wanted to make sure, like, when I was laying in bed thinking about this, I wanted to make sure that I thanked everybody and really wanted to make sure that everybody knows, from Ray to Dee to Rhonda to Chris to everybody, that everybody helps me in recovery. Everybody here. And I don't see everybody a lot, and I don't run in the same groups with everybody a lot. And I'm not social, like I don't go to a lot of any events, and I don't go to like retreats and shit. Like, I don't do that. And because I can recover how I want to, right? That's the beauty of it. You can recover how you want to. So if people are asking you to do stuff and you really don't want to do it, don't fucking do it. Because you'll regret it. You know, you'll get to an event and be like, oh, I really didn't want to come. So, with that said, I guess I'll let you come up here.
Let's get it. Drop the mic. Thanks, Kathy. You know, we can always expect that of Kathy is brutal honesty. Right? We all agree on that, I'm sure. That's why I love her. I'm an addict, my name's Norman. And once again, I'm glad everyone came out here tonight. Gonna touch her on a bunch of different stuff, and we'll see what happens. I started getting high when I was 7. You know, I'm in Narcotics Anonymous, right? I started getting high when I was 7 because there was drugs in my house. And, you know, I had permission to smoke weed when I was 12. And by the time I was 13, I was like, drug of choice was crystal meth. I fucking loved it. Yep. It was probably like 1974, and I lied about how old I was. And I got a job making $120 a week at the old Yarmouth Inn down in Yarmouthport. And then they caught me. Actually, they caught one of my buddies, and he ratted me out that I wasn't old enough, so I lost that job. But I didn't stop using drugs, right? And I used most drugs that came around, right? there were certain ones I didn't, like I'm high energy, so I didn't want the low energy stuff, right? I was like wound up tight, right? And I believe I was born with this disease. And I don't blame anything on like where I come from, right? Like I know where I come from. I come from a really fucked up place, right? Like I didn't have a shot, right? I lived in a house, and I'll try not to be emotional, but you know, the grass was this high, and my mother used to bring home hitchhikers, and they'd live with us for a couple weeks or a month. And on the side it said, you know, down the Cape you had quarter boards. Everyone had carved signs that said like Cape Cottage or whatever. Mine said the House of the Rising Sun. And I didn't know there was another way of life, people. Didn't know. Everyone I knew, everyone I was related to, used drugs. And I wound up series of events, right? I wound up not living on the Cape anymore, and I wound up getting kicked out of a couple of schools. And by the time I was a senior in high school, my cousin had just got out of prison in Mexico, and I bought my first ounce of coke. And I had my own apartment, a convertible car, and I thought I was okay. I didn't know. Like, I have to say, I had a lot of fun using people. Like, a lot of fun, right? And then, at some point, that fun wasn't there anymore. And it was fucking insanity, living hell, and I just didn't know. Didn't know. I didn't know where to turn. Everyone told me I was just a bad kid. You know what I mean? I was a troublemaker. I was a punk, you know, juvenile delinquent. Like I had all these labels, right? And I have to say, probably at that age, there was not Narcotics Anonymous. And I also have to say, you know, I wound up graduating. I don't know how. I never took a book home, never took Spanish, never took typing, like all that shit you're supposed to take. They just wanted me out of it, you know? And I went to work, and, you know, after I graduated, we rented a house in Norfolk. My wife moved in with me, was my girlfriend there, and it was fucking insanity, people, you know? Come home in a blackout, smash into the house, go inside. We're supposed to have people over for company. They're there for dinner. You know, next thing I know, my wife punches me, and I'm lying on the floor in the kitchen up against the oven, and the people screwed, you know? And I don't remember any of that, I'm just told it, you know? But I do know this. The next morning I woke up and I didn't have a nickel in my pocket, and I had a lot of money. That day I was really fucked up in a blackout. So probably another year and a half of that, right? We decided, hey, let's get married. Maybe we can swear our life away, right? Good idea, right? I didn't have a fucking good idea, people, but we got married, you know. My cousin was there from Mexico. We got the package, went on our way. And, you know, the night we got married, the mirror come off the wall on the bed, and we, you know, the next morning we're heading to our honeymoon. She's puking everywhere. You know, this is how we lived. Then, you know, probably like almost a year later, we said, well, the marriage thing didn't really get our shit together. Maybe we should have a kid. Fucking couple of rocket scientists, right? So, lo and behold, right, we have a kid. And I can tell you, like, at this point, I am so far deep into my addiction, people. Like, believing my own lies, right? Sick, really, really sick. Making a lot of money. Like my last year using, I made 43 grand, and that was in 1985, which was a lot of fucking money back then. And I stole a whole bunch more than that, right? Believe me, I stole a lot of cash. I had ways and means. But on paper, and I learned that because I had to pay taxes, because I wasn't a fucking, you know, didn't know what to do. But we had that kid, and the kid didn't know who I was. And thank God, right, within 6 months, there was a series of events where I wound up in a treatment center. And if you didn't come here to Narcotics Anonymous through a treatment center, it really doesn't fucking matter. The treatment center didn't save my life. I want to say that I never knew anybody who got clean. I never knew anybody who went to a fellowship. My friends died, disappeared, or went to jail. I wasn't related to anybody who ever got help. But I wound up, they brought us to this one place in a van in Cumberland. It was all old people, right? And I'm like, these fucking people, they're all old. And then one guy tried to tell me that what I had to say, what I could say, Now, I'm a fucking dope fiend, right? And back then, I was probably a dangerous dope fiend. Still only 5'8", 140 pounds. But I would fight anybody, you know? I was a sick bastard. And then they bring us in the same van, right? And let me tell you this, all the 30 other people at that treatment center, I thought they were gonna fucking stay clean. See, when I walked in there, they said, hey, we're gonna give you this medication. And I said, well, you know what? I come from a long line of mental health, right? My mother, in and out, in and out, in and out, medication. And I said, listen, if I'm having a seizure on the floor, you have the right to give me some medication. But otherwise, like, I'm gonna fucking try just to not. And then they brought us this other fucking meeting. And there wasn't one old person there. And they were talking about shit in their pants, stealing money, helping you find your drugs they stole from you, right? Like all the shit like I could identify, right? Because Narcotics Anonymous is about identification, and that's why I'm still fucking here 40 years later, right? So I got out of that treatment center, I went home to Norfolk, we had this little house, the little 6-month-old baby, and I said, you know what? I walked in the kitchen, I want you to know, I didn't know how to have a conversation with someone. Like a normal conversation, I didn't know how to do it. Everything come out of my mouth was fucking bullshit, right? Lie, manipulate, like, I couldn't, like, I was just a fucked up person. But I remember this, I walked into the kitchen, hey guys, and I said, I gotta go to 90 meetings in 90 days. I gotta get a sponsor. I gotta join a group. I gotta find a higher power. And I'm going to a meeting tonight down in Pawtucket in my unregistered car. It was actually a truck. And I thought it was the nicest truck, right? Because the shifter broke, so I drilled 2 holes in the floor and I put 2 rods in the floor, and that's how I shifted my transmission. And I went down to that meeting, and I went home after. They talk about change in Narcotics Anonymous. That's the first biggest change that took place. I actually did something that I said I was gonna do. And that's where my journey started, people. In the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. And back then they used to say, you know, that place, they don't have anybody with clean time. They don't have any this or that or the other. But you are my people. You are my people in this room. I don't care where you come from, what drug you used. Like the most guy with clean time had like 5 years.
Is that the truth fight?
And you know, I don't have many predecessors left, but one of them's sitting here, Mikey C. And he was a member of my home group, and there was 2 other guys who were like my bookends. And I used to put these guys up on pedestals till I realized and found out, like, no one in Narcotics Anonymous needs to be put on a pedestal. Mikey's still standing. The other 2 guys aren't, but I'll never forget Chucky B and Kenny Norris. Never forget them. Like true pioneers for our fellowship that we know right now as Narcotics Anonymous in our area. We owe it to those guys. Like people say, oh, my predecessor's this, my predecessor's that. Those fucking guys started it. They had it going on. And there was only a couple meetings. Mikey sent me the meeting list from back in 1986, right? And they had Naranon meetings on our NA meeting list. And there was only like, I don't know, 5 of our own meetings a week. There might have been more. I'm still kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's where my story started. And I'll tell you, the keychains, right? That's what I did. I chased the keychains. And we'd string them, right, Steve? We'd string them down, and we'd say, there they're strung over there. See those? Everyone in that crew had a set. Then I used to think, well, what the fuck are we gonna do for fun now, right? Talk about fun. Me and Steve had these trucks. We made a jump out behind my shop. Brand new pickup trucks, 1988. Made these big jumps. We had a movie camera back then that was like this big. And I wish we still had those fucking videos. All 4 tires off the ground, ruining these trucks, having a blast, like going on campouts, like chasing it, cookouts, and watching this fellowship grow. And you know what? Watching myself grow, right? Started to brush my teeth. Never fucking brush my teeth. Clean underwear if I had any, right? Like food in the cabinets that my money paid for. Change. That's what Narcotics Anonymous gave me, people. And then it gave me the ability to look at myself, right, through our spiritual principles and start to work on myself, because I was a liar, right? I hope someone's timing me. And everything I did was dishonest, right? My whole life, like that's how I lived my life. So I had to have these learned, like, behaviors. And my behaviors didn't come easy, people. 1988, like those trucks I was talking about, they were quick trucks back then. And I fucking went 100 miles an hour, like I was going to cop, right? But I wasn't. 100 miles an hour everywhere I went, you know? And I got speeding tickets. And then I saved some money up and we bought a house. And I was 3 years clean, had a brand new truck, and I was buying a house. And they took my fucking license away. So then I had to, you know, we weren't calling no moving company, you know what I mean? U-Haul, we move it in a couple attics, that's how we do it. You know, and if you want to learn how not to do that, when someone asks you to help them move, I know I've done this, I break all this shit. And then no one asks me to. Tom Impey asked me to fucking help him move. We're throwing shit out the second floor window. He never asked me again to move shit. So, it came time for me to rent the U-Haul, right? I can't even rent the fucking U-Haul. I call up Danny Lombardi and I'm like, Danny, can you rent the U-Haul and help me? He's like, yeah, no problem. A couple of us, we all moved in. And we stayed in that house for 37 years.
You're the law.
How long? 88 to 2016. I can't do the math, I'm not that smart. A long fucking time. What I'm trying to get at is we lived in that house and I raised that daughter that was 6 months old, and then 4 years later we had another, and then we had our third child 4 years after that, and they all got to live in that house for their whole life, growing up. Which is a fucking miracle, people, for where this drug addict comes from, right? I wasn't supposed to be able to live a life like that. I wasn't supposed to wind up where I am or where I came from. And it all wasn't easy. It wasn't all easy, you know, like, you know, you can look at me now, people look at me, oh, you know, he's got it made, he's got a cute wife, and he's got this or that. I fucking struggled with so many things over the years, right? 40 years in Narcotics Anonymous. You can just imagine in your head what went through my life and how life benefited, right? The world benefited from me coming to this place, Narcotics Anonymous, learning how to become the person I am. Learning how to be a father. I didn't know how to be a father. My father was fucking gone when I was 7. And I don't even think he was a father before that. Learning how to be a husband. Learning how to be a friend in recovery. Learning how to go to work and like earn a living. Learning how to register my car. pay my insurance, pay my taxes, and that didn't fucking happen overnight either, you know? One day I woke up and all our money's out of the bank, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? The IRS took it. I didn't file taxes for 2 years. They don't give a shit if you're an addict. They took all my fucking money. So what did I do? I called my sponsor, and I said, okay, what am I gonna do now? And I gotta call them. Now I gotta deal with them, and I gotta make a payment plan. And it took me like 4 years. Every fucking month I was paying them. But you know what? That's about change and becoming like who I am, right? I probably could have got high over that. You know, over the 40 years, there's been many things that I could have got high over, you know? I talk about my family and my children. My mother had this disease. Her nickname was Cocaine Katie the Lady. She had a 1976 Chevy van with porthole on the side. And she tried this fellowship in and out and in and out. And she suffered from not just this disease, but other things. And she just couldn't get it. And I had to make a decision, you know, to take her out of my life. And it was a really hard decision because then my children would get the benefit of that, you know, and she wound up dying from this disease. And I've lost many of my family members to this disease. One of my cousins said, Norm, hey, I want to get clean and maybe I come with you to a meeting. So I brought him to, back in the day, there was Corner Benefit and Benevolent, and it was a round robin meeting. And I brought Mark there, and after we left, you know, we were young. He was probably 25, I was probably 24, he was 26 and 25. He's like, Norm, you know, it ain't really for me. You know, and then like a year later, he was in my mother's car, and the cops were chasing him. We're rocket scientists, I might have said that before. Yeah. And he decided, he got chased by the cops, and he pulled into some guy's driveway and thought it was a good idea to climb the tree and hide. Right? We do fucked up stuff like this. What happened was he fell asleep, and he fell out of the tree and broke his back and his neck. And then his unit didn't work anymore. So he was fucked. You could be that guy if you decide to use. He suffered for a few more years and then he died. That's what happens to us. I learned to watch, listen, and learn in Narcotics Anonymous. I watch people say, oh, you know, don't take people's inventory. Fuck, I'm taking everybody. Like, what are you wearing? Where'd you get that car? Where you working? Is it a better job than I got? Right? What means you go and do? Try not to hurt people with it, but learn from it, right? And my life evolved. And I went through, you know, my friends were around me. When my family was dying, my friends were there for me. My friends, I'm talking from Narcotics Anonymous, right? You're my people. When shit hits the fan, I pick up that $10,000 phone. And phones, speaking of them, you know, I'm fucking sick of them because everybody at the meetings texted. And I'm like, I don't know about you, I probably suffer from a lot of other things. And one of them is like distraction, and they probably have letters for that. Yeah. And if I'm at a fucking meeting, I'm not getting the full attention because I don't know. Listen, I don't know where my message of hope is going to come from. They might be someone who doesn't look like me, doesn't talk like me, isn't where I'm from, didn't use the drugs I use. But if I'm listening, like I might hear that message. What is that message? It's a life-saving message. In Narcotics Anonymous. It's a place we can come, right? When everyone else, I don't know about you, but at the end of mine, people would see me and they make a fucking point not to see me. You know what I mean? Like, avoid me at all costs. Sick. And then, when finally I got clean and I'd be somewhere and I'd bump into someone and they're like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. A while, it's been 5 fucking years. I don't use no more. Oh, I don't use the stuff anymore either. Yeah, you know how many times I heard that? I don't use the stuff anymore either. If you didn't use it, I would see you where I go. And where do I go? I go to this place called Narcotics Anonymous that I love. And I love the people in it. And I love everything about it. And I stand up for this stuff. Right? I stand up for it. Like, this is my place. You are my people. And so my life evolved, right? And, you know, there was a guy, my wife was talking about, like, Ray the plumber, John the fireman. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, John the fireman? It's a fucking fireman? You know, I was, remember when I was this big maybe, and I might have had a dream I could become a fireman. I never had a felony. So I started doing that, right? Trying to get on the fire department. I fucking took test after test after test. Finally, I got hired on the fire department. And I worked there full time for 31 years. And I retired from the fire department. Now they pay me for the rest of my fucking life. They pay for my health insurance. It's unbelievable. This dope fiend kid, now I had to be anonymous, right? Like I had to lie to get that job because they ask you. Back then they didn't have like that Corey thing now they have, and they didn't have computers that show where you're arrested, right? Because I got arrested a couple times, maybe, right? I remember. And so then I didn't come in and identify as Norma Fireman. I didn't really talk. I don't even know why I brought it up, but I did that job, and then I did some other things too. And what I did was, I went to work, I provided a warm, loving home most of the time for my family. Now, I want to say most of the time because, like, I don't know about you, but I'm not fucking perfect. And I don't, the only thing I do perfectly is I don't use no matter what. But I make mistakes. I started making mistakes when I was, you know, probably 5 years old. I threw a rock at a kid's head, ripped off half his ear, right? Like, I started making mistakes a long fucking time ago. And I made mistakes like learning how to be who I am, learning how to be the parent, learning how to be the husband, learning how to be the friend, learning how to be the perfect recovering addict. And trials and tribulations, right? And then you reap the benefits, because now I can look back and say, you know what? Good fucking life. Fucking really good life, people. Like, beyond your wildest dreams, shit happens in here that you have no clue how good life can get. Life can get so good, and then you throw a wrench in it because you're like, fuck, I gotta fuck something up. I'm not used to it being this good, right? Because I was used to living in like chaos. So I gotta throw some chaos in there, especially in my relationship, you know? I remember I threw her out of the car, then I ran her over. Then I threw her out of the car at her parents' house, and then I burned rubber till 2 tires come off my car. Like, that's how, you know, I was a fucking nutcase. And I only have one spare, so you know I went and stole one out of another car. Back then, no one had cameras, but the cops still came knocking on the door because they heard that it was me that left the fucking burnout for like a half a mile up through the center of Medfield. But they couldn't do nothing about it. I'll tell you, people, like, what a journey, right? They talk about the journey. What a journey of life, right? 40 years plus 40 years, married for 42. Because of Narcotics Anonymous is what we have. What you have, your lives. You have your lives to like do whatever you want to do in your life. Like dreams. All your dreams can come true in Narcotics Anonymous. And they gotta matter to you. If someone else shoots your dreams down, it don't fucking matter. They gotta matter to you. And if you got dreams and you want to talk about them, I'm gonna boost you up, man. That's what it's about, boosting up our fellow addicts, boosting up our family members, letting them do what they want to do, not what I want them to do. What a journey, what a life. Like, I look back and like, the people that have touched me in my recovery, right? over the 40 years. People have come and gone. I have so many memories of so many different people. Some have died, some have gone to prison clean. You know, Tom Impey, he went to prison clean, got out clean, like anything's capable. Now he lives a life, he became a firefighter. That's fucked up, right? I mean, he had felonies and shit. When that department called me, right, I'll never tell him this, but that department called me like, hey, Norman, we know you know this guy. Should we hire him? And I said, absolutely not. And he probably had 20 years clean at that time. And then 3 years later, they called me again. I said, you know what? Probably give him a shot. He wasn't all better. Like, we don't just come in here and fucking life and we do the right thing. We don't. Maybe you do, but I know I don't. And I know a lot of us don't because I watch. A lot of people don't. It takes years, right? Like, it took me years to become an honest person. And I learned honesty from my wife. I owe that learned behavior from watching her and practicing honesty, right? Because I just don't come on you. You have to practice it. Practice being a good person. Practice being a good parent, you know? Practice being a good friend. Practice being a good employer, you know? Like, I have a small business and it's a successful small business. And I think it's a big deal, you know? I'm a fuck up people. There isn't a fuck up anymore. And I owe that to you people, you know? You are my people. And this fellowship and the people in it, right? I'm gonna talk about a little bit about like commitments, right? Back in the day, there was only a couple meetings in Rhode Island. And there was a couple meetings up in Boston. And it was Howie and Marshall and Ron. And it was Mikey C and Kenny and Chucky. And, you know, there was Danny Kaye and, you know, other people. And I would drive down to Rhode Island and get in the car with these guys and we would go up to Boston. See, back then, they didn't want Narcotics Anonymous speaking at, like, treatment centers, right? Fucking dope fiends. Narcotics Anonymous has changed. But back in the day, I would drive down to Rhode Island, get in the car, we'd fellowship up to that commitment. And sometimes Mikey C would talk forever and I wouldn't even get to share. I'd be fucking ripped. Right? I would be so bent out of shape. But you know what? After I stayed clean for a little while, I realized, you know, some nights I'm not meant to share. You know, when you have your hand up and you don't get called on, you say, that fucking guy just don't like me. Maybe it's just not meant for you to share that night. You know, I wasn't meant. But what happens is, when you do stuff like that outside of the meeting, it's the fellowship part, where we learn how people live and get through stuff, when we can actually talk one-on-one, not in a group of people, and learn how to stay clean together. That's how I learned how to stay clean, together, through people, through watching. And so yeah, commitments has come a long way, and you know, Narcotics Anonymous has come a long way. Like when I got here, they had the little white book and the basic text. That was all they had, you know. And remember I talked early on about how that fucking guy from the other place wanted me to say this and say that, and then Narcotics Anonymous comes up with the fucking clarity stuff. Like, what the fuck are you doing? This is Freedom Hall. I was told it was Freedom Hall. We didn't have a lot of recovery and smart people. But I think what I look at is dictate, it's not meant to. This is what I was told, people, and I'll share this. It's not Norman's Anonymous, even though my initials are N-A-G.
Yeah.
I was destined for this fucking place. I was told, you come here, you get an NA sponsor, and he teaches you the NA language, and you come around here and you learn what our language is. We don't have to jam it down your throats. I used to fucking love jamming shit in Narcotics Anonymous. Like, I wanted everything done a certain way, you know. I'm glad I'm softer now, you know. I'm just another bozo on the fucking bus. But I will still stand up for this fellowship, you know. When I was 16 years clean, I was a member of Living Free in Pawtucket. 16 years, people. And I go to the anniversary. And I'm sitting there in the front row. Because I sit down front. Because like I said earlier, I get distracted. I'm sitting down front. And the fucking speaker gets up there. You know, because they bring in speakers for NA anniversaries, right? For the group anniversary. And this is the oldest group in NA. In New England area. And I'm like, I don't fucking know this guy. Like, I know everybody in NA, right? Not that I'm this great person, but like I go to meetings regularly and I fucking know everybody who's got like a little bit of clean time. And I'm like, I think there's a fucking fraud going on here. So, and then sitting next to me and stuff, there's other people I don't recognize from meetings. Then, the woman gets up, and I don't fucking recognize her either. So then, and back, you know, they have the stage there, so they're up on the stage. So then, they're getting ready to break, and they have a microphone. So what do? I go up there and I say, where's your fucking home group? And where's your home group? Well, we didn't feel like there was people that had enough clean time in Narcotics Anonymous. Enough fucking clean time? There's people in here with 90 days. There's people in here with fucking 15 years. A fraud got committed. I left that home group. That group's still growing strong. But shit happens in here. See, we're not perfect people in Narcotics Anonymous, and people make mistakes. I make mistakes. I still make mistakes today. Believe that? I got 40 fucking years. I still make mistakes. And I'll be the first to fucking admit it. Maybe not the first. Yeah. I might need to get prodded a little bit. Hey, you sure about that? Well, let me think.
Okay.
The moral of that story is that I was a young kid back then. That was a long fucking time ago. But I will still stand up for this fella. Why? Because it saved my life. It gave me the life I have. It gave me my family I have to flourish in life. My kid's never been arrested. Like, their cars are registered. They're successful. Their pets are even good. You know? It's fucking amazing. I have grandpets. They're fucking the best pets in the world. Right? I got a grand pig. I got 2 grand dogs. I got 2 grand kitties. Life is good. What I want to emphasize the most is you can come to this fellowship in Narcotics Anonymous, and life can be so fucking good. Like you read about, right? Like the fairy tale. The whole key is that when life isn't good, you do the right thing. You pick up the phone, you call your sponsor, you call your friend. You know? Back in the day, we didn't have a fellowship, you know, we didn't have like your network. I don't even think that was a word. I had a crew. Consisted of Tom and Steve. And we were the 3 fucking stooges. We did a lot of shit. Fun shit, bad shit. And we had nicknames for each other back then. We all had the same nickname. It was Big J. And what that was our crew. We could call out our friends when they weren't doing the right thing. And that Big J stood for justification. Hey, but I didn't use. I did that. Like I kicked my wife, but I didn't use. I justify it. Like, steal that stuff out the back. I justify it. And we have friends, hopefully you have friends, that will call you on your Big J shit. And if you have a friend that needs to be called on his Big J shit, think about, hey, Norman was talking about that. I think if he keeps doing that shit, he's probably gonna get him high. I don't want my friends to get high. I want my friends to experience what I've experienced, what I continue to experience. And what do I experience? A fucking really good gut feeling, right? I don't have to take a shit every 20 minutes. I experience a really good soul and a really good heart and a pretty fucking stable brain. That is a miracle, people. And I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I love Narcotics Anonymous, and thanks a lot for being here tonight. Oh, here it is.
So now you're
All
calling
right.
Mikey C up.
Mikey C, come on up. So for the next 20 minutes or so, hopefully we're gonna eat at 6:30. We got a few speakers gonna come up and share 3 to 5 minutes.
Thank God.
Mikey C.
I'm an addict. My name's Mike. So I've done a lot of commitment. First, I want to say I've had a couple of strokes last month. So if I start acting like Jerry Lewis and crawling around on the floor, I'm having a stroke. Call the cops or call somebody to get me some help.
Cops.
Yeah, the ambulance. I've done a lot of commitments over the years. I don't know how many, but I would show up on a commitment. You know, my cousin would be running the drink. Oh, Mike, the other guy didn't show up. Can you do 45 minutes? I say, oh, of course I can do 45 minutes. But doing 5 minutes, I don't know if I can do this. You know, I'm not going to be able to say anything in 5 minutes.
Don't
really.
worry, I got you.
I love you guys, you know that. I'll tell you a couple of quick stories. Said, will you come to my group, Newton,
Yeah.
and give me my cake? And I said, yeah. And I was like, I thought she didn't like me.
Yeah.
So I get there and she goes, well, I got a speaker I want you to hear. He's my brother. I met him in Narcotics Anonymous, and I'm sitting there going, wow. I thought she hated me. And she thought I was her brother and asked me to give her a cake. I was all choked up that day. I couldn't even hardly say anything. I was like, But then they asked me if I would come up and say a few words today. I said, yep, sure thing. And them guys, Kenny, Chucky, my sponsor, Rondo, this was experimental. Narcotics Anonymous was an experiment that this girl, Donna Cotton and Kenny Natta's daughter, they said, why don't we have, all right, you know the Wilson House in Pawtucket, right? The guy that owns the physical houses named Bob Wilson. I was in the Wilson House in '79, and Bob Wilson was 85 years old. He used to come walking through with a suit on, nicest guy you ever met. And I was in the kitchen eating one time, and I wasn't done eating, and I went out on another run. But anyway, Kenny said, hey, Bob, the fuck, man? We can't even talk about drugs at the AA meetings. They keep stopping us. And I was eating and listening to the conversation. Bob Wilson looked at him and said, start your own group. And Kenny said, start my own group. What do you mean? What do we call it? He said, call it whatever you want. But just at the beginning of the meeting, every group is autonomous. You could talk about drugs here. And Kenny started the NA group at Cotty's Health Center because we couldn't talk about drugs at the AA meeting. And it was an experimental thing. It wasn't supposed to go every night. They weren't supposed to have books and readings and all that. It was just another AA meeting that we're going to call it something else, and we're going to talk about drugs. But Kenny Norris had a lot of insight on what was going to happen with this. Because he came to me one day and he said, Mike, this thing's going to be huge. I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah. There were like 5 members in one group. It was the Tuesday night living free. It was in Central Florida. He said, we have to start a group every night of the week. And I said, really? How do we do that? He said, the hard part is getting halls. You can't get halls to these groups. Norman mentioned the stigma involved with being a drug addict. So I was going around to churches and schools and saying, can we have a meeting here? Can we rent the hall? And they would say, what kind of meeting you want to have? And I would say, Narcotics Anonymous. And they go, narcotics? We'll get back to you on that, all right? We couldn't get halls. So we actually met at my house. It was over here, up over Luke's Record Exchange. We had a meeting up there for a while. I know Ray probably used to go on Sunday nights to the meeting, and we had a hard time getting holds, but Kenny had insight to saying that Narcotics Anonymous is gonna be big someday. You know what I mean? If he came here and saw this, he'd be like, what the fuck happened, man? Because there was only a couple of us. And on Wednesday nights, like Norman said, we would have to go to Roxbury, because that was the only meeting on a Wednesday night. And that place was wild. You know, so it's grown into, you know, I used to go to Apponaug on a Monday night and just sit there going, wow, look at this. Look what we became, you know? And it was inspirational to me. And I remember Norman when he was new. He'd go, oh, fuck, Mikey sees it, I'm never gonna get a chance to speak. But now he's taking up the whole fucking
Yeah, he
meeting.
is.
All right,
That's it, Mike.
love you guys.
Kelly.
Cal. Hey!
Yeah, well. Gotta time me, I'm like Mike, I can talk forever. They know that.
Yeah.
I know like 90% of you guys, and like 90% of you guys are my predecessors. Hi. Oh, I didn't say it. I'm an addict, my name's Kelly. Jinx me. So 5 minutes, yeah, maybe. Well. Anyway, Mike brought up Apponaug, so that's where I started, right? So if you don't know what Apponaug is, it's the New Freedom Group. That's not an Apponaug anymore, but everybody still calls it Apponaug. So just like that house on Tuesday night, that meeting over there, it's Cottage Street. That's what it's called, if you've been around Rhode Island. But I'll talk about you guys, because the reality is I met these two in Apponaug at the New Freedom Group. And Kathy, man, fuck that. Fuck you and the way your fucking kids are. And you know, like, man, like if I didn't think I could get my kids back, trust me, she was gonna tell me I could. And I did. And I'll just bring it, you know, to like 12 years ago. And, you know, I met my husband as somebody I liked at the time. And you don't see a whole bunch of couples that make it through and stay together in recovery. Couple of fucking crackheads. That's right, baby. You know, but you guys are a walking, talking model of the miracle of recovery and love. You know, and I remember these two show up at Apponaug, and I'm going to keep calling it Apponaug because that's what I call it, and with that fancy yellow car. It's not about the stuff we got, it's not about the boat, it's not about the Corvette, the convertible yellow Corvette outside. It's not about any of that. Well, you know what? I got a convertible fucking pretty purple blue Mustang in my driveway. And it's not about the car. It's about Narcotics Anonymous, man. We can work full time, we can earn money, we can pay our bills. We get to pay our bills. We get to take care of our children. We get to take care of our parents. I get to take care of 6 granddaughters. One's 2.5 weeks old. She's the newest, and I will get to take care of a grandson within the next couple of weeks. Finally, when I was 7, boy, he's gonna be a prince. Or he's gonna wear lots of fingernail polish and dress in pink. So it doesn't matter. But I know because of you two, that is possible. And I know because the majority of you guys I knew when I first walked in the door, over and over and over again. Yeah. Rainbow hair and all that. I know that the miracle is real and the lie is dead. And yeah, it's exclusive desire to use and find a new way to live. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Steve.
My name's Steve, I'm an addict. Hey, Steve. I just look at Norman and I cry. I just got out of a rehab. It was 39 years ago. I was at Fuller. Some people in here still remember Fuller. And it was a Saturday night meeting, and I went there, and I just had gotten out of rehab. And I was walking home. I was walking to my home because my parents didn't want me to live there anymore. And I was walking down the street, and Norman picked me up because he saw me at the meeting, and he gave me a ride. And we went to Tuesday night together, and it was my first interaction with like somebody that did something for me, and I didn't have to give him nothing in return. You know what I mean? He didn't pull down some spooky street. And then I met his daughter and wife, and you know, I was a young kid too, and we're so arrogant. Oh my God. And the thing about it was, you know, this is what I want to say. People in here, you hear them say like old timers, whatever. Oh man, the program changed, blah, blah, blah. Listen, the program, I've been here 39 years, he's been here 40. Tom's been here 38. George, Tony, 30. Program's still the same. I'll tell you what changed, it's fellowship. So the fellowship is who you hang out with. So if you choose not what's going on, don't fucking hang out with them. Hello? If you don't like the meeting's protocol, start your own fucking meeting. See, because a meeting has bylaws, right? And you're supposed to be having this stuff to keep the meeting on track of what the group wants. Not what Norman wants, not what Steve wants. That's what it's about. That's how this thing works, right? And then if you find someone that you, it's tough. Me and Norman at the time, we didn't talk. You know? Norman let me use his wife's car without her knowing. I fell asleep at the wheel, and I totaled her car. And I was working for Norman at the time, and I got the car to get there, and I parked it so he couldn't see it. And I think we worked all day night, you know? And I'm gonna tell you one call that I got from Norman. That house that he's talking about was like a cute little house, and he always was fixing it up. And he was like, I got a fucking pool. Can you believe I got a pool for my kids to swim in? I got a boat. We're gonna water ski. My kids are gonna have everything I never had. And they got it. You know what they got? They got a dad that showed up every fucking day, and a mom that was able to stay at home because he worked his ass off, right? And some people get all offended with that shit. That's what she wanted to do, and that's what he wanted to do. And they got 3 amazing children because of it, because they got to raise their own children. Someone else did it. They got that through Narcotics Anonymous. That's how they got it. They got it through perseverance. That's how they got it. You know what I mean? And the electricity didn't get shut off. The cable didn't get shut off. You know? Like, that's how we grew up a different way. Like, was I gonna be able to watch cartoons? You know? My father would break the antenna off the TV, you know? Because we were little assholes. You know, we all grew up different. All of us are from different things, all of us are from different places, but we all come here because we have one problem. And this is the solution. So don't fucking shit on my solution. Thanks.
Hey, Rhonda.
Yeah, Rhonda.
I'm an addict named Rhonda. Hi, family. A couple of stories. I always share this with Kathy when she speaks at our anniversaries. So when I moved here in 2001, Paris was 9 months old. We were at Planet Hollywood because that was my home group back there. And Kathy and Norm were there, and my mom would come in, honey, she had a lot of clean time back then, I don't know, shit ton, maybe 30 years at the time. And we got to know each other there. And then fast forward, you know, we got close, we just got close. But what happened was I keep relapsing. So I came around in '83, we didn't even have key tags, we had white chips. Like poker chips, that's how we did it back then. And when I came back in 2012, and I said I'm back again, and she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I fucking relapsed. And she's like, how long? And I like, relapsing for 30 years. And she said, why don't you seek some fucking help? That's real, that's raw. You know, I got this little girl at the time, I think she was probably 12 or 13, seek some fucking help, right? And that resonated with me, and that helped me, those words helped me. And then let's fast forward to COVID, right? 2020, we were home group members at Clean and Serene for a long time. And I love them as part of my home group. And it was COVID, it was 2020, Mom was in the nursing home with dementia. She had 40 years clean. Mother's Day came around 2020 and she died. She got sick on Mother's Day and she died of COVID. And within a couple weeks, my dog died. And then I had an appointment for the first time ever in my life to seek therapy. Because this was a little bit bigger than me and I didn't want to lose what I gained, right? That clean time. And Norman called, and he's like, and there was no meeting. Naked on there was people looking at I also have OCD or ADHD or something. I was focused on everything but the meeting. And Norman called and said, my buddy Steve's got a warehouse, let's start a meeting. And we talked with the people from Clean and Serene, and we said, let's do it. And nobody, they were in fear. I lost my sponsor behind that because she lived in fear, and we lost our connection. It was 2 years. She just wasn't being around people. And Norman and I and Kathy stayed a little bit in the parking lot, just helped the newcomers out there because it was closed. And people were in fear, right? We could have died. My mom died. But I was not going to live in fear. There were two emotions, faith and fear, and I'm living in faith. And I knew that I had a destiny that Mom had talked to, Steve had talked to Norman, that gave me the call to go start the meeting. And that's where I was for 4.5 years. Thank you. That forever changed my life because I got through COVID. And I flourished. I had a shit ton of sponsors. I still got them all. And it's been beautiful. But then what happened about 1.5 years ago is, you know, they didn't follow traditions. And it got a little toxic. And if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And Narcotics Anonymous and traditions, the 12 traditions, I will stand for and I will fight. So I had to walk away. And Kathy, you came in again. And you said, well, good. They have to figure that out themselves. Let them. Which brought me into a tradition group for the last year that I just finished. That changed everything. That brought me into a let them theory for the last year. Well, we're still in it, and we're almost done halfway, which changed everything. And then we started Concept Group with a bunch of old timers on Zoom next week. You know what I mean? That's what Narcotics Anonymous has done. That's what you guys have done to me. You know, just saying, well, that's great. Let the group handle it. You know what I mean? I had such an attachment disorder to that moment. And you were like, oh, this is okay. Just let them. Let them figure it out. And what a beautiful thing. And I want to tell a story. You talked about the lady going to the meeting in the cave and she told you to leave your husband. Kathy and I, we don't fuck like that. You know what I mean? Kathy, like Norman and I have a little connection. I love Norman and we can chitter chat. And Kathy will be like right in the middle. What are you guys talking about? I respect the fuck out of that. I love that. She scares the shit out of me. She's like, that's my man. What are you all talking about? And she'll do that. And I'm like, that's how I want to treat my husband. I learned from you watching you. Your kids are here. It's beautiful. I've learned so much from you and how to act as parents and a husband and a wife. That I just appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ed. Knucklehead. One more after him, and then we're gonna chow down.
Oh, shit.
Everything. Listen, they're talking about cop. Dude, I can't fucking. What the fuck is that, right? Sorry. You know why I don't like Kathy? Because she uses the word fuck a lot. Amazing. And so don't I. Sometimes I try not to, but I'm not trying hard enough not to. So just let you know that right now. You're talking about Narcotics Anonymous. When I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, I did not want to be here. I knew everything. Sometimes I still think I know everything, but I know shit. I just know how to pick up that phone and not pick up drugs. So I met the first time I can imagine what they thought of me when they first met. This fucking guy's a nut. And then Kathy came up to me, she goes, me! And I was like, holy shit, fuck. Oh. You guys are great, man. Like, I still belong to that group, Living Free, which is Cotter Street. I've been here for 7 years because of people like this. Because of our predecessors that's been here. Listen, I do carry the key tags. You know why? Because somebody's like, oh, back in 1980 something. Listen, when you guys got clean, I was 9 years old, all right? I had to do the math when I was standing in the corner over there, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I was fucking 9 years old. Mike, when you got clean, I don't know, when did you get clean? I was 3, 4? Holy shit, I wasn't even thinking about smoking crack then, I'll tell you that. Because when I smoked crack, guys, I'll let you know right now, it wasn't crack, it was freebase. And I was born and raised in Central Falls, Rhode Island, where Steve got dropped off. And the Cotty's Health Center, my parents worked there when I was a kid. So it was like, I lived on Fail Street, right there, right near Sacred Heart. I was actually baptized by Father Bacon. Kind of weird name, right? Bacon. Whatever. But let's not get up the subjects. Listen, narcotics, I'm gonna tell you what Narcotics Anonymous did for this addict right here, okay? When I came to Narcotics Anonymous, we're talking about that Hope Not Dope group that we're talking about right there. That building, Steve did a lot for us. COVID, he was willing to pay the fucking fine, he didn't give a shit. We're having a fucking meeting. And I thank you for that, Steve. Because I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for that building, and people like Norm, I still be smoking crack today, bro. Straight up. I am now a grandfather. Yes, I am 49 years old. I'm a grandfather to 3. 2 girls and 1 boy, and 49 years old. I told my son, if you have another one, I'm cutting it off. You know what I mean? Straight up. But it's the best thing that ever happened to me. It really is, because I'll tell you right now, man, like I see a lot of miracles in this room. A lot of predecessors up in here. What's up, guys? How you doing? Like, it's beautiful. Like, this is fucking beautiful. So Norm calls me today, he goes, hey, you mind speaking? Oh, man, I love Narcotics Anonymous. You know what I mean? Because people like you, Norm, Kathy, and my mother's name was Kathy. That's the crazy fucking part about it, right? She is no longer with us. If she could only see her son today. I grew up right here, right down the street. And I walked to Birdhouse. Look his name up. It's a big family. He was on TV. Buried people in the backyard. Yeah, it was a great landlord. But anyway, this is where I grew up. Prospect Heights, down the street. I grew up with a lot of people up in here. It's good to see your daughters there. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just take it off.
I don't want to be. I'm not trying to be a speaker. This is Kathy Annoyed. This is Narcotics Anonymous celebration right now. I don't know. I have this thing. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So my name is Kathy. I'm an addict. It's between me and the food, and I get that. So I'm going to keep it as short as possible. Today is about Narcotics Anonymous. If you didn't hear what Kathy and Norman talked about, that's what they're talking about. It is about having 80 years together, 40 years each. About having 42 years in marriage, beautiful, beautiful children. It's about Narcotics Anonymous. That's what this is. It's a celebration of Narcotics Anonymous. So Norman is my husband. They love to hustle. They argue. They did a lot. You know, Norman and Kathy actually hide their seat by dog. And I watched them two be married when I got married in Narcotics Anonymous. And I was like, wow, Norman's good to his wife. And I would even tell, I still to this day will tell Michael, like, no, Norman's really nice to his wife. You know? But the reality is it's like, it's seeing the same thing. It's just before us. We had to learn into Narcotics Anonymous and keep our recovery separate. not step in each other's way. Kathy told the story about going to the beach and doing what she had to do, right? For her AWOL group and the step group or whatever it was. And that lady, me and Kathy bonded on that because that lady, and it is somebody in Narcotics Anonymous. When I came into Narcotics Anonymous, I had about a year, somebody said to me, you know, I don't remember if I called bitching about Michael or what, but she was like, maybe you should break up with him for 90 days. It's immediately over. Like, how are you gonna tell somebody that? Yeah, you can't. You know? And I think that's really important what you said. My sponsees know if you want me to sponsor you, I'm not gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna let you figure it out all by yourself because I couldn't do this if somebody would have told me what to do every step of the way. Right? I sold every single day, smoked crack, shot dope. That's what I did, and I went to jail. So I'll be damned. Come into Narcotics Anonymous and have somebody tell me how I'm gonna act. Because I was fucked up. But we talk about keep coming and watching. Like Norman, I'm not gonna, like, I don't judge you all. We're all just equal bozo on the bus. Yeah, I said it. Some people don't like when I say that, but it's the truth. We're all equal. But some of us have a little bit more experience, that's all. But I judge people in here too. Of course I do. I'm not a fucking Corvette. My husband needs to buy me one. Yeah. Right? All right, we're gonna all, I just want to say congratulations, and I'm so glad you're here.
Not over yet.
Sorry, we're all hungry, but we have to say something.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm Farah. I'm the daughter of 2 addicts, and for a long time, I thought like I was the only, like aside from my siblings, like we were the only ones because there was a huge stigma. And nobody talked about it, and we couldn't talk about it because, like, our dad would get fired, you know, somebody found out or something like that. And so it's something we had to hide for a really long time. And then we didn't have to hide it anymore. And that's when it was like, then became something to be even more proud of. Is like, our parents worked so hard to build what we had, which wasn't perfect whatsoever, but it was perfectly us. And my dad like sets up this, he has a large extended Irish family. I knew none of them growing up. And he does this thing like every June now and has this like family reunion. And I'm always like, oh my God, like I don't want to go to this stupid family reunion. Because I don't know anybody. And I don't really care about knowing anybody. And then like tonight happened and my dad was like, can you help me make a flyer, like blah blah blah, and I was like, sure. And I was like, Jen, we're going, like this is something we want to show up for, we want to be here. Nobody had to beg us to come here, they didn't even invite us. They didn't invite us. But we're so happy to be here because like during their entire journey and our entire journey, this was their family and you're all their family, and by extension you're our family. And every time something got really hard or wasn't hard, it was like, we're going to a meeting. I'm like, well, what about me? Like, have dinner with me. They're like, fair, we're going to the meeting. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll be salty about it, but you guys do it. You show up there because everybody shows up for you and you show up for them, and then you can actually come home and show up for us. And we got really very lucky to have this extended family who I have like a lot of love and respect, and I have a very special place in my heart for every one of you here, for like giving us our family.
Growing up, it wasn't ever really talked about how strong my parents were, and I just saw it every day, even if it wasn't spoken about. And I'll say I'm 9 years sober. I woke up one day, I had no help. My friends weren't supportive. I really had no help. And I woke up one day and said, if my parents can do it, I can. And I wouldn't have the life I have today without them. And watching them struggle is very hard.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of them.
All right, I was gonna do a clean time countdown, but I think we're gonna skip it. If everyone's cool with that.
I have one thing to say.
Of course she does.
Happy birthday, Karen.
But we are gonna close with We Do Recover. And just for today. And then we'll close in normal fashion.
So you're calling up Maxine?
Yep, Maxine, come on.
Hi, I'm Maxine. I'm an addict. My voice is gone, so sorry in advance. We do recover. When at the end of the road, we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? There seems to be this alternative: either go on as best we can to the bitter ends, jails, institutions, and death, or find a new way to live. In years gone by, very few addicts ever had this last choice. Those who are addicted today are more fortunate. For the first time in man's entire history, a simple way has been proving itself in the lives of many addicts. It is available to us all. This is a simple, spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous.
Thank you. Joey.
Hey, I'm Joey. I'm a grateful recovering drug addict. Just for today, tell yourself, just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program I will try to follow to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I'll be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations. People who are not using, and I found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. Nothing.
Thanks, Yeah.
All right, we're gonna circle up. Yeah. Yeah, circle up.
We can't do it!
Circle up, circle in. Here's where you see what we're having. I see the food here.
Are we reaching them? They're on the inside.
All right, we're gonna close it up. We're gonna close it up over here. And also, we're gonna give a big happy birthday to Haley. Don't want to miss it.
We have 2 birthdays? Wow, that's cool. Oh.
It won't be our father, I can guarantee you that. That's right. Nothing against you, Tom. God.
Keep coming,
Hey, what's going on?
food out there.